Hello, everybody. Today we'll be taking a look at visual sitemaps, which is a very interesting tool. It's basically like a visual sitemap tool. So you have a sitemap that you can visually look at, but they also do a lot of these other things. They do wireframes and they do logic flows and workflows, and they also do. It's just really it's an interesting tool for sure. And they have just a lot of things that I think I'd rather show you guys than actually talk about it. But you can do a lot, like you can plan content, you can track quality assurance, you can track competitors. It can get very powerful. I can say that much. They were on AppSumo a couple of years ago in 2021, but they no longer are on AppSumo. They haven't been for a while now, but I can take a look at the actual pricing plan here. So if you guys take a look at the pricing plan, you can take a look. You can try this tool for free to see how it is, if it fits your workflow or if it doesn't. But in the free plan, you don't have access to sitemap editing. You don't have access to screenshot annotations, scheduled crawls, visual QA comparisons, custom tags, content and SEO planner, and export screenshots. You don't have access to most of these on the mini plan as well, but where you get access to basically all this, is the freelancer plan and the team plan. The freelancer plan will run you $59 a month, and the team plan will run you $299 a month. Now, without further ado, let's actually get to the actual tool here. And when you first come into visual sitemaps, what you want to really do is, so you'll have a workspace that you work out of. You can also invite team members to the workspace, but you want to build a project. And so once you build a project, what you can do is you can crawl any number of websites. So I actually crawled my website. The way you want to do this is you create a new crawl. So you can do four things. You can create a crawl. That's a crawl that you run now. You can also schedule a crawl that happens once a day, once every day, once every week, once every month. You sort of decide what that looks like. You can also create a comparison. This is a quality assurance QA comparison that actually tracks the changes, visual changes between one crawl and the other one. I'll show you how that looks like. And you also have flows, which is more of like a workflow diagram sort of tool. And I'll show you how that looks like. So once you decide you want to crawl, you can schedule a crawl, and crawl are basically the same thing. So you crawl, and once you crawl, you add your URL. So in my case, it'd be mkgrowth.ca, and then you can also, they have advanced settings. If you want advanced settings, and they tell you the estimated total number of pages and the statuses of each one. And you can do a bunch of other stuff, other settings, which I'm not going to bother with at the moment. But you can also crawl the sitemap XML. So how do you find the sitemap of your website? Well, you want to basically go to your website, and actually, let me just sitemap.xml. So go back here, and what you want to do is, generally, if you're on WordPress, this is generally how the sitemap looks like. It's going to be your domain dot whatever / sitemap.xml. Now, if you're not using WordPress, then you probably have to figure out where your sitemap is actually stored, or even if you actually have a sitemap. Once you have that, you select it, and then you're ready to crawl. You crawl now, and it's going to go out and it's going to crawl your website. And this usually takes maybe 10 minutes or so, depending on how big the website is. The smaller, the faster; the bigger, the longer. And once you have all that information, now you can do a couple things. So first of all, now that the website is crawled, you actually have access to the full sitemap. And the difference between this and something else is that you actually have access to each page. It's a full page screenshot for every single page on your website. So for example, this is my homepage. And this is a full page screenshot of my homepage, and you can actually take a look at it. Now, obviously, it's not interactive. It's not the actual page. Just full page screenshot. But it's some really cool things you can do. So, for example, say you are working on a client's website, and you built a website, and now you're in the QA and optimization phase, and you want to make sure that you get client feedback and comments, just ensuring that you guys are on the same page. Well, guess what? You can actually share the URL to this. So for example, we just want to focus on this page, right? There's a share icon. So I'm going to share that. You can see right here, it says link copied. And then I'm going to go to incognito just to show you guys that I'm actually not logged in. Sorry, why did that not copy? Sorry, so basically the way you want to share the actual thing is you want to scroll down here, and you can see it says share right here. So you want to click on that, and then you can see that it says link copied. And once you do that, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm on incognito, and I can actually access this. Now, if I actually try to click on one of these, and if I try to click to leave a comment, it's going to say you need to sign up to leave a comment. Now, once the client actually signs up, you can click on sign up, and you can sign up with whatever your email is, and it's free. But because they have access to this sitemap, once they're logged in, they can leave a comment as is. So imagine now I'm back at my actual profile, and I click on this, and say I am the owner of I'm actually hiring mkgrowth.ca to build a website for me, and I'm like, hey, I don't like that it says book a meeting, so I'm gonna click on here and be like change, and I can mention someone, so I'll mention here, can you change this button to another color? I'm gonna leave that comment, and usually what ends up happening is that someone will get an email notification that someone left this comment, and you can actually so let's go back to, let's exit out of here, and you can see right here, you see the comment section. Click on that, and you can see all of the comments that are left, and you can see if they're private, public, unseen, unresolved, and resolved. Now say I come in and I'm like, okay, a client just left a comment. I'm gonna go to this comment here. I click on that, and I'm gonna go here, and I see the comment is left right here. And I'm gonna be like, hey, I changed this. So say I go to the WordPress website, I change the color, and I can resolve this now. So I can just click on resolve, and now it's resolved. And then I can go back here. Let's go to the comments, and let's go unresolved, and then you can see that there's one unresolved and there's one resolved. So it just makes this workflow a little bit easier to do. Now there's a couple other things you can do in the crawl section here. So you can actually, let's go back here. You can actually add project details. So this is at the highest level. So if I click on this document, edit sitemap details, this is the project details document section for the whole sitemap. This is for all the pages. So this is generic information you want to add about the website, any related Google Docs, any files that you want associated with this folder. What's really interesting is, like, say for example, you're working on the home page at this moment, right? You're not working on any other page. So let's go back here. Let's click on the home page, and you can click on edit content here. Let's edit content, and you can write information. So they have like a doc section here. So test, right? Test 1, 2, 3, right? So you have all that information, and you can also bold it and do a bunch of other stuff with it, right? And then what you can also do is you can upload files, right? So you can upload files. And another thing you can also do is actually connect your Google Docs Google Drive folder. I'm just going to connect to my Google Docs, and now I can actually add information. So say for example, we have a Google Doc that is associated with the homepage. So I'm just going to take this cover letter sample here, right, and exit out of that, and you guys can see that I can go back in here, edit content, and it should be there. And if I click on this cover letter template, and it'll open up an iframe of that actual doc. And so this makes it really easy to connect content to the actual page itself. And you can do that for every single page. It's just really nice it's very easy and nice. Once you get into the workflow, you can really manage a lot of these things within the actual document section. Another thing you can do is, say for example, this is the home page, and I want to add another PDF document on the same level, so I can compare both of them. So I can actually click on this, and you can see I want to add a folder, or I want to add a page. Let's add a page, and I'm gonna drag this over. Let's go to here. I'm gonna add that here. Okay, because the home page is the top level, I guess I can't do that. But let me see if I can add a. Yeah, so you can actually add a PDF file for. So say for example, let's look at this search page here. I'm gonna add a PDF file. I'm gonna do that. I click on that, and you can. I believe. Sorry, let me go back here, and can I edit this? Okay, so you click on that, and then you can just add whatever. So I decided to add that, and then I'm just gonna exit out of here, and then you can see that that screenshot is now there. So you can add a screenshot. So say for example, if you manually want to add a PDF or a screenshot, you can do that as well. I'm going to delete that. And a couple other things you can do here is you can also minimize everything and maximize everything. And you can also change the orientation. So say I want to do something like this, where it's like a horizontal vertical scroll bar, or you can actually do something like this, where it's like just the pages like this, and you can take a look at all the pages. And let's go here, and then I can also leave comments here, as you know, as say for example, we're working with content writers, and you know the content writer can come in and leave comments, or I can leave comments for the content writer to work on. So I can do that as well. And yeah, so that's the sitemap in a nutshell. Now let's take a look at let's go back to MK Growth here, and I'm actually going to go back one position, and I want to show you guys the crawls now. Sorry, the comparison. So I'm gonna go back here, and I already did a comparison with some websites that I was just testing this out on. And so, for example, let's go to comparisons. And the way you want to do comparisons is actually if you go back to sitemaps, right? Remember what I mentioned earlier on? You create a sitemap today, and then you create a scheduled sitemap that happens every 2 weeks. So now you have 2-week iterations. You have a sitemap, right? Now what you can do is compare each sitemap versus the one before. So for example, let's like addiction resource.ca, or let's actually take a look at Canada drug rehab dossier. So I want to look at this one. This is the most recent crawl. You can see June 27th, which is today. And also, if I scroll down here a little bit, you can see a previous version which happened on February 26th, 2024. And I can click on that. And then you can pixel sensitivity. You can do low, high, medium. They suggest medium. I would say even just low is even better, because sensitivity is important, because you don't want, sometimes just like it might be the same content, but some type of padding or margin might move things, and it might mess the whole thing up, right? But I already did this, and it usually takes, so a crawl usually takes around 10 minutes or so. A comparison usually takes maybe like less than a minute, probably 2 minutes, right? So you go to comparison, and I already did one for you, Canada Drug Rehab dossier. And once you actually do the comparison, right, two IDs, IDs compared, 2 versus 1, you can see the status, is it completed? You can see the results, you can see the differences found, right? And you can see new pages found, old pages removed, and you can see the visual similarities, right? So let's go look at view, and you can take a look at some of the comparisons. So remember when I mentioned just some padding or some type of movement can definitely, the red is, so when you see red on the right side, it's basically telling you what changed. So if I click on this again, you can see what it looks like. And again, you can't really tell a difference, but you still see red, which tells you there's a difference. That's basically a sensitivity issue. I'd lower the sensitivity to not actually have those false positives or false negatives. But if you scroll down, you can actually see sometimes some major movements, right? So for example, I can definitely see something change here in this section right here, right? So how do I know this? Well, if I click on this once, I notice that Aurora, they now have, so before they had 4 sponsors, now they have 5 sponsors, right? And this is within a span of 6 months. So they had a sponsor here, and then now they have Aurora, which they didn't have, and they actually got rid of, so the cabin, they used to have the cabin before, right? You see the cabin right there? They don't have that no more. And so they also had the Hills Rehab in the past. I'm sorry, the cabin, my mistake. The one on the left is the newest version, and the one on the right is the oldest version. So they used to have the Hills Rehab, and they used to have Aurora, and they don't have that no more. And if you scroll down, you can see, let's see if there's any other major changes. Again, the same change there. Scroll down a little bit more. You can tell, did that change? No, that did not change. So for the most part, I think, and you can also check by similarity. So let's look at 65%, less than 65%. Let's look at less than 75%, and you can see some of the changes. So 70%. And so it seems like the big change here was this section here. Otherwise, the content basically looks the same. So that could definitely, and you can flag it as well. So for example, if there's a major change, you can flag this, right? So for example, cancel, let me flag this. How do I flag this? Sorry. Flag. So you can flag this, and then you can assign it to someone and then do that. Now let's go back to, now let's take a look at flows, which is really interesting. So flows is basically, let's do a new flow. and it's basically just wireframing, diagramming, flowcharting, all that, right? And they have a bunch of templates that you can run out of. You got the decision matrix, you got a decision tree, organizational chart. It's just a really nice way of just flowcharting. Although majority of what I do when it comes to flowcharting is I rely totally on AI now to do a lot of my flowcharts and wireframes and my diagrams. I actually made a video on this before, so if you guys want to take a look at that, you can definitely take a look at that. And I'll probably leave it in the description below on how I use AI to build flowcharts and diagrams. But this could be very interesting if you want to use it, right? So let's look at persona. So persona, and I'm gonna go back down here. Let's click on that. And it's building a persona, and then you can work on it. You can change things. You can add connectors. So for example, you can connect this to, you can connect this. Oh, this is, okay. So you can connect this to this, for example, and you can connect this to this, and you can connect this to this. Right? So you can definitely make different connections here, and you can change the connection style, bold, dash, outline. You can also do from endpoint to endpoint. You can change the endpoints there. You can also, you can do a smooth step or a straight line. You can also lock it, and you can also send to back and send backward, etc., etc. You can also build other things as well. So you can add text, right? Test. And then you can also add images, right? Let's add this image. And you can also add wireframes as well. And you have a bunch of different wireframes. So let's look at like features, for example. And then you can also add icons as well. So how would you use this for a wireframe, for example? Although there are other ways you can definitely build wireframes. But what I would do is, like, for example, you want to work on a specific page. So you do a rectangle, and then you do that. And I'm just going to change the color to, I don't know, like light gray, for example. And then you can do add a wireframe, and you can, let's do blog, for example. Sorry, this was a shape. What you're supposed to actually do is you actually add a section here. And in the section, you can add different information, such as a wireframe, and let's look at a landing here, right? And you can connect the landing to, for example, let's add another wireframe, let's do a blog, and you can do that, and you can connect the two right there. So you can connect the two as well. You can add text in between, right? And let's go back to flows, and let's look at another. Let's maybe look at a one specifically for wireframes. So like website wireframes. So I'm gonna just scroll down and see if they have anything closely related to a wireframe, so, or a sitemap. So for example, a Shopify e-commerce screen by screen. Let's do that. So Shopify, scroll, and it's creating a wireframe for a Shopify website. So you can scroll in here. So I can zoom in here. You got the home page, and you got a page here, and you have a header section. So you have sections here, and you can connect the different sections to different sub-level pages, etc., etc. I know this is just extra work in the age of AI, when I just made a video on Reloom, which basically automates the whole process. But this can definitely be useful if you want to just like flowchart quickly or whatever. But I really think this is just an extra feature that you might or might not use. What I really think is powerful is having the ability to actually track comparisons between one crawl versus the other. Check if there's 404 errors and things like that. Check if there's any new content that your competitors might have written, things like that. That's, to me, is very powerful. I haven't fully checked out their notification system, but if we can be notified of like, hey, from one crawl to the other, these were the changes, and now we have automatic notifications whenever our competitors make any changes, that would be crazy to me. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna end it there. We're already at 20 minutes here, but yeah, it's the tool itself is very powerful. I haven't been using it as much, so I'm probably gonna be starting to use this more and more, because I do see how powerful it can get, and I just have to basically get into the cadence of actually setting up these crawls and scheduling these crawls and identifying competitors, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, definitely take a look at the tool, and I'll leave the it's free. I mean, you can try for free. I'll leave the link to the actual tool in the description box below. So yeah, I know this was a little bit longer than my usual videos, but thank you. And until next time, see you guys later. Take care. Bye.